guys, we've made two changes to the QDB ranking. It's just given it a little bit more power, basically. And what happened is that we'd opened the euro pound, and we were really, really extreme. So this change is going to ensure that we don't trade the very extreme sentiment. And the euro pound was like 92%, and it's really come off the extremes. By coming off the extremes, it's becoming a buy. Right, so obviously when we get to a certain point in the sentiment, there isn't any way for it to go. It has to come round. It's like a train getting to the train station. It's loaded up all the passengers and it's about to make its return journey. Right, so when it gets to the destination, the final destination, it's 100%, and then has to has to go all the way back to the start and then back and forth, and it does basically picks up passengers on the way. They get stopped out. They have to leave the train, and then that's just one of the things about the sentiment. We see some nasty reversals at extremes. So what we do now, we won't be trading. The robot won't be opening anything with an extreme sentiment. Admittedly, this was very nice for us. This AM trade was very good, but just to be on the safe side, we won't be opening any more longs because it's given it a negative score because we're very extreme. Okay, so there's going to be a point where they're going to blow up, and once they're blown up, the train's going to go, all right, we can make the return journey back home now. And so that's one thing that we've done. So it's basically avoiding the extremes. And just a second is that we got an ADR measure, which is pretty cool. And what happens is that if we get close to the ADR by 0.1%, it won't open, and it will give it a negative score. So as we near the ADR 20, it won't open. It shouldn't open the trade because we're nearing the ADR. So that therefore we wouldn't open a Aussie Swiss because we're so close to the ADR 20, and that's the second change. So all the fancy formulas are over here, and we can see that we've actually made 97% of the day. So we wouldn't really be getting any gas left on the tank whatsoever on this particular trade, and therefore it's got a negative score. Likewise, EG has really exceeded its ADR today, and therefore it's got a negative score. And this one here, which is GA, we've exceeded the ADR, but to the downside, and that's why that's got a negative score. So with any luck, I still got a bad score. It's just because it's so heavy, even though with that check, but that's fine. It just is really heavy, technically and sentimentally. But it is what it is. So therefore, going forward, we'll have two more checks in the robot, and it won't be doing opening the trade on when we're extreme, which is great because we don't want to be doing that, and we don't want to be opening the trade when when we've exceeded ADR and when we're extreme on the sentiment as well. So when we're beyond below 10%, it's a negative score. If it's above 90%, it's a negative score. So we're basically avoiding the sentiment. We're avoiding the extremes. And I show you the trading view. Show you EG, and we saw a big reversal because of the sentiment. Here we go. So this is where we neared the very extreme sentiment, and where else could it go? It's unloaded the passengers, and it has to go up just to take some more passengers then for the next part of the journey, which I think is probably going to be to the downside. But we have to definitely want to be avoiding this kind of price action. It's this retracement that happens at the extremes, and going forward, the robot won't be taking those trades when we're at the extremes. So we took these ones here as we went into Friday close. They were fantastic, but then it wasn't clever enough to know we were extremes, so it opened up some sells down here, and we'll be avoiding that now. And that's it. So just two changes on the QDB ranking, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.